Skill-based matchmaking. It is a hot topic among not only the FPS scene right now, but also, especially among Call of Duty. And it is a topic that has garnered a lot of negativity in the scene. So let's talk about skill-based matchmaking as someone from the more casual perspective, who this system is supposedly supposed to benefit. Well, first of all, what's the intention of skill-based matchmaking? Kind of self-explanatory. It is meant to pair you with people of relevant skill levels, so that you don't have giga sweats in lobbies of people that are kind of new to the game. And where a lot of the criticism for this system has invariably lied is within the realm of non-ranked modes. Because obviously, if you're going to play a ranked or more hardcore playlist, then obviously there should be some kind of skill-based matchmaking, as the goal there is to fight better and better players, and you can tell you're getting better at the game by what rank you are. And I have been slowly improving over the few matches that I've played. Hey, me again. This is me after recording, and I've played about quite a few more matches since I've recorded this, and I think it's safe to say sliding has kind of clicked for me, so my skill level has drastically increased. Okay, I was originally going to make this a bullet point, but I'd rather just say it here. These are the KD ratios for my last 10 games, from oldest to most recent. I had a KD of 1, then 0.4, then 0.81, I know, Giga Pro over here. Then the match that is in the background of this video. This had a KD of 2.67, one of my best matches in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Then I had 5 matches after this. 1.3, 1.83, 1.27, 1.38, and then the most recent one was a 0.65. So I had lobbies with better players after this match, but at the same time, if the goal is to put me against players of my skill level, then I should be closer to the 1 KD, which I just wasn't. I'm either consistently above 1 or below 1. You know, except for that one match where I literally killed 14 people and died 14 times. So I noticed 2 main things from my little experiment. 1, the game failed to pair me up with players of my skill level, or if it managed to do so, it was inconsistent wildly, but also, since this game in the background, when I did better than my previous game, I would do worse the next time. It's not the biggest sample size of all time, but let me know if your trends follow a similar pattern. So again, not perfect data, but I used the weapon I thought best suited the map, so it doesn't seem like skill-based matchmaking is doing its job. It's attempting to do so, but it can't strike that balance. Okay, back to the original. But skill-based matchmaking has a few issues. So if the goal of skill-based matchmaking is to pit me in lobbies of players of similar skill level, I haven't really ever noticed that all that often. Now there's another argument to be had here. Sometimes, you are just flat out better with one setup compared to another thing. And in Call of Duty, especially Modern Warfare 3 with the challenges, it incentivizes you to try different guns and to try different playstyles. For instance, I found out I'm pretty dang good with the shotgun. It is by far the match that I had the most success in is the one where I used the shotgun. Most of the time, though, I've been trying to work on my aim, my movement, my slide canceling when it comes to assault rifles, and my performance has declined alongside that. But playing a bunch of different things is clearly an idea that is intrinsic to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, otherwise the challenges wouldn't tell you to go play different styles of weapons. I just want a more casual lobby that I can go in with a weapon that is not optimal for me, and just try and grind those challenges out. But if I have to go in lobbies of players that are at least of my level or even slightly below it or even more above it, and I'm using a weapon that I'm not good with, then I'm just going to get stomped again. And it may be a match or 2 before I can actually get the challenges done. And then afterwards, perhaps skill-based matchmaking will look at those maps that I just did, realize I sucked 9 kinds of ass cheeks when I was doing it, and say, you know what, maybe we should put them against weaker opposition. But my challenge is done, so I'm gonna go back to my bread and butter, what I'm used to. And then all of a sudden, I'm doing good again. And it's not like these challenges are one-off, they're daily, they're weekly. And this is a phenomenon that can affect people of every skill level. It's a sliding scale. You may be turbo bad with a sniper rifle or really good with SMGs. So if you have to use snipers for a match or 2, and the game adjusts based on your performance there, when you go back to the SMG, you're gonna wreck house. And not to mention the other issue with skill-based matchmaking, the death of the lobby. Lobbies were great in older Call of Duties. Why were they great? Because They funneled you into the game. It felt like in older Call of Duties that the entire design around the UI and the mechanisms surrounding matchmaking was to funnel you into the game as fast and seamlessly as possible. Nowadays, though, the priority is to pair you up with players of similar skill level. So one, your ping may suffer, but also, it has to recalculate those numbers on the back end as to what your theoretical skill level is and who you should be paired up against. So you don't ever really get a lobby going. You just get booted out and be forced into a new lobby right afterwards, where you have to search for more players all over again. And it may not be long in the immediate moment, but those seconds add up over time, and it's a lot more time wasted than it used to be. The emphasis on the game no longer becomes putting you into a lobby of players to just play around with, and if you're not having fun in that lobby, you can just back out at the end of the match. Or if you are having fun, you can stick around and get right back into the action. The emphasis is no longer on that seamless transition into a match, but it's predicated on this calculation for who you should be paired up against. And you pair that with how badly the Call of Duty HQ and overall launcher kind of runs for me, and I imagine many of you out there, and it creates a situation where playing Call of Duty becomes off-putting, because it's less about actually playing the game and more about everything surrounding the game. And that is not a position that I think is beneficial for Call of Duty to be in. Now, bear in mind, this is not just a uniquely Call of Duty issue. Skill-based matchmaking is a system that is inherent to a lot of multiplayer experiences nowadays. And I would lean on the side of the community that argues skill-based matchmaking should only really exist for ranked. I think it has to exist to some degree for casual playlists, but it should be, as Max Hoberman has said on Twitter. In fact, let me quote him here, and again, I'll leave a link to this Twitter thread in the discussion down below, and if you want to know who Max Hoberman is, he's the guy who designed skill-based matchmaking for Halo 2 and Halo 3. He's the OG for the system, pretty much. And he designed it for unranked matchmaking, quote-unquote, allowed a very wide range of skill levels to match together for what everyone agreed was casual, inconsequential fun, end quote. Because in some of those matches, you may be on the weaker level of the skill spectrum there, or on the higher end, or somewhere in the middle. That variety of experiences, on the whole, was enjoyable, because you got a mix of everything. But also, when the priority is mostly on just putting players into a match, you get into games faster, which in my opinion is more enjoyable. Having those lobbies form where you play a few matches with the same people, those are individual stories that can last for quite a while. You may even end up meeting people in those lobbies. That, at least in my experience, is far harder for that to happen nowadays. And I think it's cool and all to be of the position, because it sounds good, right? That everyone should play against players of a similar skill level. And it's one of those positions that sounds good, but in the practicality sense, it kind of falls flat, especially for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. You have challenges that incentivize you to utilize other aspects of the weapons sandbox that you may not be as proficient in. There are some times when you just don't want to play a very sweaty game. You just want to be in a match. If you get stomped, okay, cool, you move on to the next one. Maybe you do a stomp. Maybe you go off and you go for like 2.5 KD or 3 KD or 2 KD or something like that, and you do really well. And you want to do that again, but not every game is you stomping on everybody. And then you have those occasional games where it's down to the wire. That spectrum of experiences varies up the experience and keeps you wanting to play, at least for me. But it also provides players an option. If you want skill-based matchmaking, and you want every match you do to be that sweatfest, to be of players of a similar skill level to you, then a ranked mode should exist to satisfy that. You should have that option. But for players that want a more lax experience, that just want to be able to go in and do their challenges and not fear that they're going to have like a 0.5 KD, or just want to take it a bit more casually than say they would on a ranked mode, those more casual playlists should exist as well. But Call of Duty just doesn't really provide that experience anymore. And Call of Duty used to. It was always that game you could just log in and play a few matches and just like shut your brain off for a bit. Or if you wanted to, you can turn your brain on and try hard. or try not. You are allowed to have that variety of experiences that is just kind of absent in the modern Call of Duty game. And I think that does make it a lesser product on the whole, because it's never a great feeling when you're just trying to play the game casually, to have 1 or 2 great games, and then know that you are about to go up against the entirety of the winning team from the Call of Duty League. That's never a good feeling, because it puts you off from playing again, and that's just not how Call of Duty should function, in my opinion. And with that, I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, have a great day. I'll see you all next time. Leave a like and subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload and stream in the future. Bye-bye, everybody. Till we meet again.